right. Once again, thank you everyone for taking the time to join us at our user clinic. We are here today to introduce to you some of the latest features on ArcLab and also to help answer any of your questions or issues that you have with regards to the platform. Now, before we begin, here are some housekeeping information. You may feel free to ask any questions in the chat box at any time during the session. However, we will continue to present the agenda we have for today, and we will address your questions only at our Q&A session. So do help us to mute your mic if you're not speaking. Also, this session is being recorded, and we will work towards posting snippets of it online for our wider community. So here's our agenda for today. I will be first giving you a quick introduction to ArcLab and the speakers. Next, I'll take you through the latest feature updates, and then we will end with Q&A, feedback collection from you on today's session, and finally, our giveaway too. Now, first, a quick introduction to ArcLab as well as the team behind it. Now, ArcLab is a mobile learning platform that enables you to author multilingual training content in minutes and have them delivered directly to your staff's mobile devices without a need for an app or learner account. All data and responses are captured live on the platform for you to track their learning and performance. Now, allow me to have ArcLab CEO James to kick off our session today. James, please.
Thanks, Martin. And thank you all of you who are taking time out of your busy schedule to join us today. ArcLab user clinics are a great way for us to spend time together. We had two before the pandemic, and this is our second one this year. Both of it have been virtual so far, but we are working to have one in person very soon. So we built ArcLab to be the easiest way to upskill your workforce, sending training directly to your staff's mobile phones, and giving managers important data about your workforce. As you can see, we continue to improve ArcLab in response to your feedback and your needs. And today, my colleagues will share more of what we have built these past few months. So I want to thank all of you for spending time with us. And I hope to meet each and every one of you in person very soon. I want to do a special shout out to Ms. Alina Rusu from Business Academia, who's dialing in from Australia. So I wanted to share a fun fact that Business Academia has known ArcLab since our MVP days. They have been using ArcLab and seeing how we have evolved these past couple of years. So hopefully it has been a fruitful ride. Hi, Alina. And I wanted to basically give a shout out to her because she runs a successful L&D and organizational transformation consultancy practice. If you are interested to try this for your organization, please feel free to let Alina know. I'll paste her website details in the chat later. Right. So before I hand the time back to Icarus and Martin, I wanted to ask everybody's cooperation, if you could, right, to turn on your video because we wanted to take a group shot. It's very rare to get everybody together. So if I may request everybody's cooperation just for a couple of seconds, and then you can then go back to no video. Hi, everyone. Good to meet everybody. Okay, so I'm going to invite Icarus to take a quick picture for us. All right, let's take a couple more shots and I think we're good. Thank you. I'll pass the time back to Martin and Icarus. Thanks once again for joining us today.
All right, thanks, James and Icarus. So together with myself, I have Icarus, our software engineer behind ArcLab, speaking to you today. So what's new on ArcLab? We're excited to share with you 3 of our latest features, including Reorder Learner Screen, Monthly Learner Access Report, and the biggest one, Geofencing. So here's a demo of our new learner metric dashboard where you can view how many learners have accessed the modules from your account. So on your project dashboard, we mouse over your company menu, then we click on learner metrics. So in here, you can view the total number of learners who have accessed your modules from the start of the month to date. On the 1st of the next month, you will also receive a learner metric report on your email automatically. So this learner metric dashboard here is intended to give you an idea of the level of engagement from your learners month to month, and also to allow you to have better control on how you would like to deploy and manage your learners' access across your organization. So here's a demonstration of how you can begin using the new Reorder screen. On your editor, we click on the Add Screen button, locate and select the Reorder question screen, and add it to your module. So you can use this Reorder screen to test your learners on certain procedures and SOPs, where they will have to then drag and drop the options or the steps into the correct order. Now on the right, you can configure the number of options to display, and you also have all the other usual screen configuration settings. On the screen itself, you can enter the questions accordingly, and then you can fill out the options below in the correct order. So these options will be automatically displayed in a random order on your learner's end. So here's an example question on the correct procedure to operating a fire extinguisher. So what is the correct way to operate a fire extinguisher? Right? And then we fill out the options in the correct order. Pull the safety pin, aim the nozzle at the base of the fire, squeeze the lever, then sweep the nozzle from side to side. And then finally, we will label our action button. So here's how it looks like on the learner's end. Right, we have the question, what is the correct way to operate a fire extinguisher? And then we have the 4 options, and my role here is to drag and drop the steps into the correct order.
Okay, so now I'll go through the new geofencing feature. You can access the geofencing dashboard by clicking on the geofencing button in the top left bar. So you'll be greeted with a list of locations on your left, as well as a map for better visualization of your locations. So we'll start by creating a new location by clicking on the new button. Now you can search for example, you can search for Botanic Garden. You can name it Garden. As well, we can change our radius. So maybe we can change it to 300 meters. And you can create. So now I'll go through the upload feature, which allows you to upload multiple locations at once. So this is how an example spreadsheet will look like. So you have the ArcLab ID column, you have the name column, address, radius, groups, latitude, and longitude. So the ArcLab ID is used for our internal identifier for your locations. The name is used to specify the name of the location, and the address is used for us to interpolate any location into the latitude and longitude of the location. And we also have the radius, which specify how large of the geofencing restriction to have on that location. And the latitude and longitude is what we'll mainly use to put the location onto our map. So we have the green entries, which are new locations that we're trying to add, and the orange entries are minor modifications we're making to existing locations. So the red row is actually a deletion. So we're making a deletion of this location. So we can just remove all of the cells and keep the ArcLab ID intact so that we know that we are performing a deletion. So now going back to our geofencing dashboard, we can see that Bedok Mall is slightly off the correct location. So we are using the upload feature to make this minor adjustment such that it's placed in the correct location. So we click on the upload to find our Excel spreadsheet. And as you can see that we are simply making a modification in terms of the address for Bedok Mall, and we are keeping the latitude and longitude the same. So this means that even if you don't make any changes to the latitude or longitude, and you just make a modification to the address, it will update the location of the location that you want. So we have this removal. So this location is being deleted as previously mentioned by the red row. And we have the two new locations being added. You can see that we don't have any latitude and longitude for those locations, but it's okay. We have the address, so we can extract this data into longitude and latitude so that we can place it onto our map. So we have the name modification and radius modification, as well as the latitude, longitude, direct modifications. So we click on confirm, and you can see that the Bedok Mall has been shifted to the new location. Now we'll move on to the groups. So groups is a way for you to manage multiple locations at once. So it can be either by regions. So for example, you have a west outlets, you have the central outlets, or you can group them by brands if you have multiple brands under your company. So we'll go. So we already have some groups that have already been created. So we can click on one of the central outlets. So to add locations into a group, you can simply click on the map and they'll be added into the group. Click on save. And as you can see that I've added these 5 locations into the central outlets group. And likewise for the west outlets. So maybe instead of this time, we can click on the out locations button, and this will bring up a list of locations, and we can click on the individual locations in the list. Click on done and click on save. And these 3 locations have been added to the new group. Now I will show how you enable the geofencing setting for a particular module. So you can go back to your dashboard, where you can click on the edit project. At the top right hand corner, you have this map marker icon. You can click on the access geofencing settings. So you can either add that by location or by groups. So you can either add the west outlets group, or you can add individual locations individually. So for example, I want to add the PLQ outlet. So we can also specify the custom error message when the learner is not at the location. So for example, I can say that please only access this module on the and click on save changes and publish it. So this is what your learners will be seeing for a geofencing enabled module. So they'll have to enable GPS location as well as group location set permissions. So they will click on proceed. And they'll be greeted with an error message, which says that please only access this module from the workplace. So this is the error case. So if we enable our current location, which is at the HQ office, we add it to our locations for this particular module, save changes. And as you can see, we have successfully entered the module, and we know that this geofencing works for only locations where they have been added to the geofencing settings of a particular module. So this will end my demonstration for the new geofencing feature.